When I was in 8th grade, I went to a conference with my youth group. We were all very excited to be there, and everyone was talking. There was tons of noise, and all of a sudden, this man in his late 20s walked onto the stage. And as soon as he started talking, the room went silent, and we were all focused on what he had to say. His name was Craig, and he told the story about Iqbal. And when Iqbal was 4 years old, he was sold into slavery and was chained to a carpet weaving loom for 6 years. And as he was explaining the story about Iqbal, I instantly imagined myself as a 4-year-old, and I imagined myself being pulled away from my family and in this situation, and being a victim of child labor and child slavery. And I couldn't imagine my life without a normal childhood, and I couldn't imagine the situation that Iqbal was in. And so when Iqbal was 10 years old, he ran away and started speaking up for child's rights and against child labor. And when he was 12 years old, he was actually killed because of these beliefs and because he spoke out. When Craig was 12 years old, he read this story about Iqbal, who had already done so much in his life by the time he was 12. And it inspired Craig to want to make a change and to want to do something to change the world. And so he gathered 11 of his friends, and they created Free the Children. And Free the Children is a nonprofit organization which, and their mission is to empower children and to free them from poverty, to free them from exploitation, and to free them from the belief that they are powerless to change the world. And so what they do is they start here in America and empower children to believe that they can change the world if they have the heart. And what they do is they adopt a village. So when they adopt a village, they look for a community that is in poverty, and they give them the 5 things that they need to rise from poverty, which is a water well, so they can have clean water, food, and healthcare, education, and most importantly, a sustaining way of life. So they give them one example, they give them an animal so that the family can raise these animals and breed them and continue to have a way of life that can bring them out of poverty. And so as I was listening to the story about Iqbal, and also just of Craig's own story, I was inspired, and the fact that even though these were just little people, they did such a big thing. And so now whenever I see a little child, I try to remember that even though they're such a small person, they can do something to change the world, just like Iqbal and just like Craig. And I also remember that even though I am just a small person, if my heart's in it, I can do something great, just like they did.